Okay, so I'm back again because there are certain things that I didn't mention in my spoiler review for Luke Cage. Claire, I'll start off with the positive. She was a character who definitely had a certain verve to her actions. She's got principles, as we've seen before in her stints in Daredevil and Jessica Jones. As the through-line character for all these Netflix shows, she's not someone who I think is there just a connective element. She actually has an ambition herself to be more than just someone who keeps the consistency of the shows to the forefront. And obviously she'll probably be in the Defenders as well, where all these characters, Jessica Jones, Daredevil and Luke Cage, get together. My main issue for her is that she decided to leave Matt Murdock because she didn't like his lifestyle, and she felt that even though that he was very necessary to the city, she didn't want to stay in his company and watch him destroy himself effectively for his ideal. And yet she seeks out Luke Cage because she decides that she wants to help these people. With her skills, her innovation in the medical arena, she can in fact do that. She wants to be the night nurse that we know her to be in the comics. But why go to Luke Cage in order to fulfill that ambition? If you decided that you want to help these people, then shouldn't that person that you decide to help first be Daredevil? Obviously she has helped him, not saying she hasn't done that. I watched the show, so did you, I hope. If not, sort that out. But yeah, I think that if she's aligned the axis of her personality, or the axis of her ambition to being wanting to help these people, then she should go back to Daredevil and Hell's Kitchen. I hope that she does actually do that now that Luke Cage, this is spoilers so you should know this by now, now that Luke Cage is actually in prison again, having to try and clear his name. She's got not much to do as a character. Maybe her whole thing of picking up the martial arts instructors course thing off the flagpole, I think it's a flagpole, telephone pole at the end, is a key clue as to what she'll be doing in, Iron Fist. Maybe she'll meet Danny Rand in some kind of martial arts dojo. I don't know. It would make sense that if she's going to meet him, it would have to be because she has in some way figured out that he is a superhero and that he will need the night nurse. Who knows? But yeah, my negative about Claire is that I don't understand how she has gone to Luke Cage and not Matt Murdock. Obviously the show needs her to do that, and so maybe it's glossing over that fact. But there's more positive things to her than negative. I really do think that Rosario Dawson is a very smart actress, or at least her agent is fucking amazing to get her, to audition for the show and thus do so well in the part. What else is there to say about Claire? For now, nothing. I'll talk about the ending of the show because that's obviously something that should be a focal point of any review, and I didn't do enough of it because I was damn tired a few moments before when I recorded the first review, but I've got a second wind. I like how Cottonmouth is being tended to by the Dr. Bernstein character, who gave Luke his powers, or at least was part of that, alongside the racist police officer who turned the temperature up to turn Luke into the unbreakable skin type character we know as Power Man. I wonder if he will shock horror. I wonder if Dr. Bernstein will try his experiment again on Cottonmouth, because Cottonmouth shares at least partially the same DNA that was responsible for Luke being able to survive the process to become Power Man, or Luke Cage. Luke Cage isn't actually a superhero name, which I like. It's cool they haven't actually called the show Power Man. That would be awkward, even if it was staying true to the birth of the actual character in the comics. I really do like the fact that when he did escape, big tangent here, I do like the fact that when Luke escaped Seagate prison, he was able to find clothing that was pretty much spot on to what he wore in the 70s comic, the yellow canary top, the leathers, trousers, and obviously the weird tiara as well. So that was really damn clever story writing there. And I did actually smile like an idiot when that happened, because as he picked up the clothing from the hanger, from the clothesline, sorry, it was very obvious that's where they were going. So this show is quite self-aware, just where it needs to be in that way. If you've watched my first spoiler video, you know I have certain hang-ups about how essentially characters were philosophizing way too much, and even though it's in line with the show's belief that these characters are trying to figure themselves out, it can become quite wearisome when you're a binge watcher to see people not really talking like people but constantly navel-gazing to an extent, and obviously characters not killing other characters when they have a chance to and they really want to was an issue for me. I think in the last episode they were trying to suggest that Cottonmouth didn't really have what it took to actually kill Luke Cage, because Luke asked him to kill him and Cottonmouth gave it all he could and he started to walk away. But hey, that could be just a TV show thing, which they don't really think is a problem. In that character wants to kill another character but then doesn't do it, not really for a character reason, because I don't think Cottonmouth has any compunction when it comes to killing Luke Cage. I think that he would kill him. That's basically where his character is going. Even though he used to be a mentor to him, there is no true hint that the Cottonmouth of the now, a grown-up Cottonmouth, has still got any true emotional link to anyone, let alone Luke Cage. I think, well, he has a negative emotional relationship with him, and so therefore we just want to see that through to the end, I think. I don't get that. I hope that they address that when we see Cottonmouth again, because I don't think he's gone forever. Though if he didn't come back, I wouldn't be too displeased about it. I think they should give Luke Cage other people to fight against who aren't necessarily linked to his backstory, because let's face it, his backstory is quite a mammoth thing to get through, and yeah, it's another positive which I didn't mention in the other video, in that this show is so extraordinarily faithful to one of the most convoluted backstories that has ever been in comics. Jesus Christ. This guy, he has gone to jail for something that he didn't necessarily commit, a crime didn't commit. And the show doesn't even tell us exactly what that crime is, but I'm sure that at some point, if it's necessary, it will come out. But yeah, he does that. He's chosen to be part of a program that gives him powers. He escapes. He decides to basically use his powers for the good of his people, after realizing that essentially he can't just stay on the sidelines. They didn't do the whole hero for hire thing, which they sometimes hint at in the show, saying hero for hire every now and again from various characters, saying that he can market that. But yeah, if you don't know this already, if you didn't read the comics, in the comics, Luke Cage decides to become a hero for hire. You pay him money, then he'll save you. Thankfully, they didn't do that, because that's probably one of the worst ideas I think that you could actually have for a superhero, in that they actually make you pay money for them to do the right thing. That's not coming from a great character place. That would definitely be something that would be hard to write into this version of Luke, who's quite morally on center. So yeah, is there anything else? I could talk about Detective Scarf's relationship to Misty. They could have had more of it. I get how he brought her into being a police officer, and I can see that she's emotionally racked by the fact that he's been a corrupt officer for who knows how long now, but for some time. But I didn't really feel enough of that experience being something that I could... I felt bad for Misty because I was attached to her, but I would like to have seen more of their relationship. They do have a few wisecracks here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, it would be nice to see them just doing something that's outside of law enforcement, even though you don't always hang out with your people from work. You still have a big connection with them and whatnot, but you don't normally see that in a TV show of cops when they're doing something outside of law enforcement. And maybe that's just not the nature of their relationship, but just the way that she talks about him, how he saw something in her, and so therefore she's got that connection with him, and that it would justify them doing something outside of work. I wanted to see something else. I didn't see it. So yeah, in a way, I felt that their relationship on the show could have had a little bit more, let's see, gravitas, that's the word. Something before he gets killed, because then him getting killed is not enough of an impact for me, a viewer, even though it is for Misty Knight's character herself. I think that's it for now. As thoughts hit me as I stand here in Brockwell Park, I will relate them to you and at some point upload them. Bye.